Well, with Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out this week, I thought it was a perfect time to give you guys my top Eddie Murphy movies of all time. Eddie Murphy has obviously had a polarizingly up and down career, but when he was up, holy shit was he up. And when was he up? Basically the entire decade of the 80s, which is where you'll find most or all of the movies on this list. Before I get into my ranking, tell me your ranking down below. What is your favorite Eddie Murphy movie of all time? Who's your favorite Eddie Murphy character of all time? Because he's got a bunch of them. I'm going to keep this to 5 movies here, guys, because when you do 10, you're including everything. 5 makes it challenging. 5 makes it fun because you got to keep some good movies off of this list. I kept one in particular that I can think of, good movie off this list, which pains me to do, but we're doing top 5. And I had to include my sleeper movie in here, which I think is a very underrated movie that nobody ever fucking talks about. Once you get towards the top, it's really, apples to apples here, because I love every single movie on this list, and Eddie Murphy in all these movies just steals the show. So, let's start right off the bat. Let's get to my number 5, and this is the sleeper movie I was talking about. This is The Golden Child. This came out, mid-late 80s, around the same time as Big Trouble in Little China. And Big Trouble in Little China kind of stole the thunder of The Golden Child. But let me tell you, The Golden Child it's probably not as good as Big Trouble, but it is right neck and neck. If you got Big Trouble at 1, Golden Child is 1A. And, who do we have to thank for that? Of course, Eddie Murphy. It's kind of not his typical role. This is kind of an adventure role. And, he's got this little monk or Asian kid that he needs to protect because this kid is the key to saving the world and, stopping this evil from being unleashed, and, wackiness ensues. But, you just get all these classic scenes. I want the knife. Just so many good things. If you have not seen The Golden Child and you're a fan of Eddie Murphy, I highly implore you to go check it out, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Even the effects, some of them are dated, but they hold up quite well as far as practical effects from 40 years ago go. So The Golden Child, my number 5. Number 4, oh boy, I cannot believe Beverly Hills Cop 2 is my number 4. That's how good the top of Murphy's filmography is. I adore this movie. I've loved it since I've been a little kid. There are many days of the week where I'd probably prefer this over the original. But I can't deny that the original is going to be on this list somewhere else. But Beverly Hills Cop 2, like most sequels, takes everything the first one did well and just kind of expands on it. You got a more cohesive relationship between Foley, Rosewood, and Taggart. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do in Beverly Hills Cop 4 with the 3 of them back together. But you got the Alphabet Killer, is it the Alphabet Killer? The Alphabet Crimes. That is great. You got all kinds of different shenanigans ensuing. Rosewood kind of gets a little more weird, which works comedically. And, Eddie Murphy really puts his detective skills, just to the limits here, kind of showing these guys what he can do and how good of a detective he actually is. And I love some of the lines in this. Mostly there's a line when he's using a gum wrapper to bypass a security system, and Taggart says, "How do you know how to do all this?" And he goes, "Wasn't always a cop," or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And it's just fantastic how he uses his street smarts to solve these crimes. So Beverly Hills Cop 2, it's number 4. That's crazy. All right, let's get to number 3. Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis. This movie it's a Christmas movie. This movie's fucking classic, and this is a movie that probably would not be able to be made today because it is that raunchy. There's a lot of inappropriate shit in it regarding race, regarding swear words and all kinds of shit like that. I don't give a fuck. It's funny. It's always gonna be funny. They're gonna come for this movie eventually. They're gonna try and cancel it. They won't be able to because there's too many people like me who know how golden this movie is as far as a comedy goes. But this essentially is, it's just like the movie says. You have 2 people who are trading places in life, and you got Eddie Murphy, who's kind of a grifter and a thief and shit like that, and you got Dan Aykroyd, who's got it all together, and these two brothers who Dan Aykroyd works for are fucking bastards. They make a bet that, nature versus nurture. They make a bet that they could get Billy Ray Valentine, who's Eddie Murphy's character, to kind of become straight-laced, and Dan Aykroyd's character to, be, a thief, basically. And they were right. They were right. But what they didn't count on was Jamie Lee Curtis getting these two together. She plays a fucking hooker. But she gets these two kind of together. And they kind of pull one over on the Duke brothers. And it's just a classic, like I said, classic comedy. I don't care that it's inappropriate for today because it's fucking good. Trading Places, my number 3 on the list of top Eddie Murphy movies. All right, 1 and 2. This is impossible to pick for me. I love both these movies. Like, I love all of these movies, but my 1 and 2 can flip-flop any day of the week. My number 2 at this moment in time, it's Coming to America. Once again, you asked me on a different day of the week. Could be number 1. Probably will be number 1. This movie is fucking just fantastic. It's got so much heart. It's not Eddie Murphy being, his raunchy self. This is Eddie Murphy playing a guy with a big heart who comes to America, shocking, right, based on the title, to find his bride. He's rich. He's the Prince of Zamunda. His name's Akeem, and he goes and works at McDowell's, which is like a McDonald's ripoff. And there's just all kinds of classic scenes that have just kind of ingrained themselves in pop culture now. Anything involving the McDowell's restaurant is fucking gold. Anything involving the guys with the hair that Lisa is dating is gold. James Earl Jones is great as Eddie Murphy's father. Arsenio Hall playing, I don't even know if he's his best friend, but is the guy that he's going there with is great. This movie is just, it's got so much heart. Eddie Murphy plays the character of Akeem, who is just, like I said, looking for his bride, and he wants someone not interested in his money. And there's just, it's just fantastic. So if you haven't seen Coming to America, what are you doing now? Go watch Coming to America. But that brings us to my number 1. And today, it's the OG Beverly Hills Cop. Like I said, Beverly Hills Cop 2 is awesome. It really is. And, there might be days where I prefer Beverly Hills Cop 2 over Beverly Hills Cop 1. But I think Beverly Hills Cop 1 is a better movie. And this is just, Eddie Murphy being unleashed. And this is like him as a full-blown A-list movie star. Everything about his interactions with the Beverly Hills Police Department is great. I got thrown through a fucking window, man. Like, it's just fantastic. And once again, just like the second one, you see some of his street smarts, but he's trying to find who killed his friend. And I love the final battle of this movie. It is bloody and just fucking brutal as hell. And that's kind of what takes it above Beverly Hills Cop 2 for me, is just the stakes of this final battle, and Rosewood and Taggart getting more and more involved with Foley, even though he keeps one-upping him with like banana in the tailpipe and shit like that. All just great. And Axel Foley, so excited to see him again in Beverly Hills Cop 4. But Axel Foley is a pop culture phenomenon. He is one of the best characters ever put on film, and that's why Beverly Hills Cop, the original from I believe 1984, is my favorite Eddie Murphy movie of all time. So like I said, tell me in the comments your favorite Eddie Murphy movie. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.